that will have an impact on how you compose, your exposure, your frame of reference, your focus points, etc. So you have to make a plan and then make notes on what you want to do with that image or series of images. You will forget. Trust me, I've been there and done it. So the wow factor can be created actually 3 ways. One, from behind the camera, from in front of the computer, a combination of 1 and 2. So we'll start out with creating wow images from behind the camera. And essentially that means working the scene. And these are the areas that we're going to delve into tonight on as far as what you do behind the camera. I'm not going to read these to you. Let me dwell a little bit on foreground. I like foreground images. I like important foreground images. But if you're going to have anything in the foreground of your image, it's got to be sharp. Because if it's not sharp, visually you can't get past it into the rest of your photograph.
What do you mean by color mass? Is that the intensity?
A mass of a single color or masses of complementary colors, etc. You'll see a couple of examples of that. Rather than, I'm talking about bold color. And of course, there's always F, A, and B there. Okay, so framing. Architectural elements. You can use arches, etc. The picture on the left was taken in Budapest. That is called Fisherman's Bastion, which is up on the hill in Buda. And the one to the right is actually taken from the clock tower, the top of the clock tower in Prague, looking out through the arches at a little church. Or you can use natural elements. The one on the left is called Three Sisters, and the mountain in the background is Pikes Peak. We were driving to Red Sand Dunes National Monument. This is the approach road going in. And I was with a friend of mine. We were out in Colorado for a couple of weeks shooting fall color. And man, we're driving down the road, and all of a sudden I see this thing, and I hit the brakes so hard I almost put it through the windshield. I said, wow, look at that! And he's looking at it and said, what the hell is it? I said, it's a dead tree. He says, well, so what? I said, follow me and you'll find out. I think most of you might be familiar with that. This is Mesa Arch and Canyonlands National Park. Or you can create your own. This is the a lighthouse. I forget the name, actual name. It's an important name. And it's a nice lighthouse. It's got a nice leading line, etc. But on its own, it's kind of boring. But right next to it is an old fort, and they have the gun ports. So I said, why don't we take them and put them together?
Ah.
So we created our own frame. Now, this good time, in most of the images that you will see, the first images you will see of a set will be basically straight out of the camera. And the reason I say that is so you can see. I mean, I think they're all shot in RAW, and you know, looking at raw images is pretty crappy unless you get a vivid imagination. Okay, so, and then get closer with people. So this was a model shoot, and so we got a little bit closer, and even closer. Same with this young lady. Closer. And closer yet. Same with her. And really close on this one. That is as close as you're gonna get to that turtle. That actually been my grandson from about 5 years ago. Places. We all like to take travel pictures. The one on the top right is, you know, obviously there's travel, the people looking at the church. This was on the island of Mykonos. This is the Kaufman Center for the Performing Arts in Kansas City. If you haven't had a chance to get out there, if you haven't shot this thing, it's worth a drive. This building was designed by an Israeli architect, Saladin, an Israeli architect who also designed the Sydney Opera House, and he also designed Crystal Bridges Museum down in Bentonville, Arkansas. But it's a spectacular building, and depending upon the time of day that you get there, I mean, you can shoot this 18 different ways from Sunday. Also getting closer, you get these shots before the cops run you off. You all know where this is over in Hartford. And again, going in close, look for the detail. This is the Park Güell in Barcelona. This is one of the park designed by Gaudi. And the same thing with things. I mean, you got to have an eye. You got to be lucky too. I mean, I was out shooting a guy, and we walked past. We were going back and forth, or scouring the back alleys off Broadway, looking for grunge. And I think we walked by this thing 3 times before we spotted it. And it's a charred, burned out door with a rusted lock. This one's a little better shape. And foregrounds. Again, the small images. This is Lake Louise in Banff, Alberta, Canada. That's one view of it down there. The better view, obviously, is with the canoes in the foreground. Same thing with this. This is Valley View in Yosemite National Park. And I had shot this thing in the morning. That was the one on the top right. And we came back and drove by it again. For those of you who haven't been in Yosemite, it's great. It's a very compact park as far as getting around and seeing stuff. And the second time around, I walked way down to the right, past where I shot the original one for us, and I found this old log, which provided a really nice foreground element. Actually, this particular black and white print was a silver medal winner at the PSA convention in 2011, 2010. And again, Valley View, going back again, we keep going crisscrossing through the valley. I had shot it again in color. And then we came back a 4th time, and this guy is standing out here painting. What a shot. I love having people in my landscapes. This is Emerald Lake in Yoho National Park in British Columbia. Actually, no, it's Alberta. But the one on the top left is, basically a very mundane shot of a lake with a nice mountain. The one to the right is okay, it's got a canoe. I much prefer the one on the bottom with the rowboats that anchors the picture. It gives it a lot more interest. Again, foreground. The lighthouse on the left is Noble Light. It's in York, Maine. And I am walking, we were there on a trip, and my wife is up with the car near the parking lot, and I'm walking, and she's gonna disappear below her line of sight down into these rocks, and she's having a heart attack, figuring I'm never coming back. But this type of a shot, I mean, most everybody that shoots this lighthouse will shoot from the top part, but 2/3 of the way up, and that's it. I think it's a much more effective image getting down low and shooting it that way. Same with the picture on the right. I think the part of this image that makes the image are the furrows in the soil leading up to the barn. Again, foreground element, a gate. This is Last Dollar Road in, outside of Ridgeway, Colorado. And the one in the lower right is, again, just a half-buried rowboat. I think adds more interest to the image. That one was Cypress Gardens, not the one in Florida, but the one in, yeah, it's in Charleston, South Carolina. This is another one, again, more foreground, rocks, trees, etc. And this is Tenaya Lake, which is on the road from Yosemite to, well, through the Tioga Pass. Reflections, that can give you a wow. You can reflect buildings and buildings. Everybody has seen the one on the left. Most of you have probably shot it. And sometimes you just gotta be lucky, because the one on the right is actually the lobby, outside lobby area of the Marriott Hotel at the south end of the Westminster Bridge in London. And we're waiting for our hop-on, hop-off bus, and I'm wandering around, and I walked into this, like a three-sided alcove, and started looking at this glass, and then I started looking up and saying, oh my God, look at that. This is also from London. This is in a place called Moore, London. And that's actually one building, it's just reflecting back on itself. And man-made type reflections. The top one is from, no, it's not Amsterdam, it's from
Florence.
Amsterdam. What do you think?
yeah, no, it's
Florence. Although it's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
colorful.
Venice,
Would it be
one of the
Amsterdam?
islands. No, it's not in Venice, Italy. Man, Urano. Yeah, Urano, not Urano.
Okay.
The one on the lower right is Jefferson Home in Virginia. And then you have natural reflections. I think most of you might recognize this. This is Maroon Bells, just outside of Aspen, Colorado. I had seen a lot of pictures of this, and when we were in Colorado, I really wanted to shoot this. So sunrise, the time to get this is around sunrise. So sunrise was about 7 o'clock in the morning. So we got out of our hotel about 6 o'clock and drove down and pulled into the parking lot around 6:30 and walked about 50 yards down to the shore. And there must have been 80 photographers, interlocked tripods all the way around the stands. It was almost impossible to get a place to shoot, but it was worth it. Again, reflections. This is Woods Lake in Colorado. And this is Two Jacks Lake, just outside of Banff in Canada. And this is back to Cypress Gardens. And then you have unexpected opportunities. Just a couple of years ago, we were
That's
on
cool.
a walking tour of Florence, and our guide stopped in this area, in this square, and started talking about history of the buildings that I couldn't care less about. So I'm wandering around and saw this puddle and started looking down. And, oh, what's that? Not a great image, but it's a little bit different. Color mass, somebody asked me earlier about color mass. Something like this is a, some sort of a bouquet of flowers. Did I check the saturation slider? Yeah, I did.